This is the story of a country born from the ashes of empires, of a people who believed they could live together, and of dreams that turned into dust. This is the story of Yugoslavia, of its birth, of its glory, and of its collapse. A story of hope, a story of fear, a story of people. At the beginning of the 20th century, the Balkans were a crossroads of great powers. Austria-Hungary in the west, the Ottoman Empire in the east. Nations lived under foreign flags, but an idea was already burning. The idea that the South Slavs could be one, that they could have their own state, that they could decide their own fate. The First World War changed everything. Empires collapsed, borders shifted, and people searched for security. In Zagreb, the National Council of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs was formed. In Belgrade, the struggle for survival continued. The Serbian army endured the hell of the Albanian retreat, but returned as a victorious force. And on December 1st, 1918, the kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes was proclaimed. A state born out of necessity, but without a clear identity, without a shared history, without a shared language, without a shared vision of the future. The new state was large, but deeply divided. 3 religions, multiple languages, different traditions, different interests. Belgrade wanted centralization. Zagreb demanded autonomy. Slovenia looked toward Europe. Bosnia was torn between identities. Macedonia sought recognition. Montenegro sought respect. Political tensions grew year after year. In parliament in 1928, Stjepan Radic was assassinated, a moment that wounded the state deeply. King Alexander imposed a dictatorship. He tried to create unity by force. But identity cannot be ordered. It cannot be imposed. It cannot be built by decree. In 1934, the king was assassinated in Marseille. The country entered a turbulent decade, and the world was moving toward another war. In 1941, Yugoslavia fell apart in just 11 days. Germany, Italy, Hungary, and Bulgaria divided its territory. The NDH was created. Occupation zones were established. Collaborationist governments emerged. But in the forests, a movement was rising, one that would change history: the partisans. Under the leadership of Josip Broz Tito, they united people of all nations: Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, Bosnians, Montenegrins, Macedonians. Their idea was bold: brotherhood and unity, a joint struggle against fascism, a joint struggle for a new state. The war was brutal, full of crimes, full of revenge, full of wounds that would never fully heal. But the partisans emerged victorious, and in 1945, a new state was born: the Federal People's Republic of Yugoslavia. Later, the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. After the war, Yugoslavia chose a path that was neither east nor west. Tito rejected Stalin, refused to be a satellite of Moscow, and opened the door to a unique model: self-management, workers running factories, committees, meetings, decisions, a system complicated but empowering to the ordinary person. Borders were open. People traveled, worked in Germany and Austria, sent money home, built houses, built lives. The non-aligned movement made Yugoslavia a global player. Tito, Nasser, and Nehru. 3 leaders, 3 continents, one idea: independence from great powers. It was a time many remember as stable and proud, a time when people believed unity was possible, a time when culture flourished: film, music, sports, architecture, the sea, resorts, the brotherhood and unity highway. But beneath the surface, old cracks never disappeared. National questions were suppressed, not resolved. On May 4th, 1980, Yugoslavia stopped. The death of Josip Broz Tito was more than the death of one man. It was the beginning of the end of an idea. Millions cried. Millions stood along the roads as the procession passed. But behind the tears, fear began. Fear of a future without the leader who held everything in balance. Economic crisis grew. Inflation, debt, unemployment, gasoline lines, empty shelves, uncertainty. Republics began looking only at themselves. Political elites awakened, and nationalism returned. By the late 1980s, political elites realized they could gain power only by awakening fear, and they awakened it. In Serbia, Slobodan Milosevic rose. In Croatia, Franjo Tuđman. In Slovenia and Bosnia, national parties strengthened. Each had its own vision of the future, and none of them matched. Slovenia and Croatia declared independence. Slovenia, a short war. Croatia, long and bloody. Bosnia and Herzegovina became the epicenter of tragedy. The siege of Sarajevo, Srebrenica, mass killings, refugees, destruction. Macedonia left peacefully. Montenegro stayed with Serbia until 2006. Kosovo exploded in the late 1990s. NATO intervention changed the course of history. Yugoslavia was gone. States remain. Wounds remain. Memories remain. But a trace remains too. A trace in the language, in the culture, in the music, in the humor, in the mentality. Yugoslavia was a brave experiment, born out of necessity, lived on hope, collapsed in fear. But the idea of unity still lives in the people who remember it, in the stories passed down, in the songs still sung, in the memories that do not fade. This was Yugoslavia, a country that tried to unite what history had separated for centuries, a country that lived briefly but left a mark that endures.